Hey everybody, welcome to the MenoLounge. I'm Julie Gordon-White, CEO of MenoWell, Menopause, and Energy Bars. I almost couldn't say bars because I'm so excited for this conversation today. We've got Dr. LaReesa and we have a special guest, Denise Pines, who is producer of The M Factor, but more importantly today, producer of Wise Pause. And Denise and I were at the Oprah show. Did you see the taping, the show last night? Oh my God. So here she is. Here comes LaReesa. Let me bring up Dr. LaReesa. LaReesa, there you are. Awkward. Oh my gosh. I feel like this is going to be sort of, hey, Melissa, we're going to have to bring you up here in a second too. It's going to be like The View today. We've got Denise joining us. Hi, LaReesa.
Hi, Julie.
I'm wearing my Oprah jacket. Same one I
I
wore on
know
my show.
that purple's hot. I mean,
Because she loves purple, and I've been wearing it the whole week. And I was with Tamsin on Saturday,
I saw.
and,
I
I
saw.
hugged Tamsin, and I'm like, "Don't touch this shoulder, Tamsin. This is my Oprah shoulder." She's like, I'm like, "No, actually, rub it." She's
All
so
the
funny.
good vibes. Such a great experience.
Oh
Even
my
when I was
God.
watching it, I was just like, "There's my crew. There's my girls.
It was so fun. And the crazy thing is that we had to sign an NDA, so there was no talking about it. But then all of a sudden they were posting about it. I'm like, oh, should we talk or just they're gonna talk, So it was kind of fun. All right, Denise, where are you? Denise is coming because we want to talk about Wise Pause.
I
Wise
don't miss
Pause.
it.
You're
Yeah, it's a good
gonna miss
time.
it? You were
Yeah,
speaker. Was
I was a
last year?
speaker before. It was the year
Year
before.
before.
Yeah.
So good. I
Yeah,
know.
sleep is the new sexy, and it still is, right?
Still
So.
is. Still is. All right. Well, Denise will be here when she gets here. We'll bring her on. But let's just go behind the scenes. Let's talk about the show. As a doctor, as an OBGYN specializing in estrogen and menopause, what are your reflections on that?
Oh, it was so many good takeaways, but I have to give it to him. I loved that everyone shared a sense of vulnerability about their experience. So it became very relatable
Mm-hmm.
quickly.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
had funny parts, they had raw parts, like stuff like, did she really say that? But
Like
and
about
that's what we
Naomi and
needed.
Billy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
that's that's what we needed. And I couldn't help but to just really trigger on some of the words because they're just definitive of many of the patients and clients I come across. Dismissed, feel like I wasn't valued in the conversation. A new takeaway from me that was shared: I did not realize 6 to 8 visits go by with a physician on average by the time that diagnosis. Like, I haven't been keeping up with the number. I said that's on average that technically how many people have to touch something right before they buy.
Right. It's like a marketing message. Like, this makes no sense because that would never happen in your world.
Right.
But yeah, Mary Claire
Right.
said that 6 to 8, that is unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Yeah.
Melissa's here, who is also in the audience. Melissa, I saw you so many times in the audience on this show. And so I hope you're dressed in case we just bring you up here on the live. So if
Oh,
you're
that's
not,
good.
go
Yeah,
put
I mean,
on
we
your
have a beef
denim
type
jacket.
style today.
Yeah, exactly. Um, let's see. So I also loved, well, Camille, Menopause
Yes,
Made
I
Modern.
was so glad to see her out there.
She was
Oh
so
my God.
vulnerable and sharing, and she's like, I'm having a hot flash right now.
It did. Awesome. And that's the thing. It's like a lot of times, just depending on what you see on your feed or what have you, there definitely people who were out for a singular mission and purpose in this movement, and that's what I put it, when she posted, I was like, oh, I'm so glad. And just to know that I know you've been in this, like this is part of your purpose and your mission. And many of those people out there, that have a platform to specifically, for women of color or just women, period. It's just awesome. It's just really awesome. So yeah, I was glad to see her.
She was really good. She was nervous. It was just, it's a lot when Oprah is there live. And let me just say, she was so kind, so funny. She was like the big sister friend. she had no pretense. It was really cute. At one point when she first came out, everyone's so, cheering, yeah. And then she's like, "Oh, I'm getting a message in my ear. I got to go back. My Spanx. I got to fix my Spanx." Like, who says that? It was so good. She was just so
Sounds like something I would say.
just real, right?
It's
Exactly.
real.
And it's Oprah saying it.
Mhm.
So real. And
Mhm.
Mary Claire was fantastic, so relatable. What
Mhm.
I love about Mary Claire is that whoever you see her to be on social media, that's who she is in person.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
and that's how she was on the show. I get to spend a
Yeah.
lot of time with her at events, and she's just the same. And that, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Really, really awesome.
Yeah, I agree because when she came to Orlando for Dr. Vonda's event, I got a chance to meet them live in person for the first
Yeah.
time. And yes, warm and, like, hey,
Yeah.
we need to get here because finding out we went to the same med school and everything. So but it's just interesting how just one person's experience and vulnerability of even saying like, hey, I wasn't such a good menopause doctor once upon a
Right.
time, you
Right.
know, and that instantly allows people to like, hey, I'm glad that you see that we could do better,
Right.
so it was a good time.
She makes it safe for other doctors to say that. Denise, I'm pretty sure that's you, and I'm not sure what
Yeah,
you're showing us.
my to-dos.
You got to turn your camera
Okay,
around. Okay.
hold on.
Yeah,
I
we don't want
always
to
do
see
that,
anything inappropriate on your to-do
right?
list.
I know. Like, let's move it here. Right. Let's move it
Look at
here.
all
You
your
can see they're
post-its. Okay,
they're everywhere.
there I
Okay,
know.
what?
Denise
What?
Denise is the
Where's
most.
my camera? There we go. Let's see,
Did
is
you
that
find
it?
your flip?
Yeah.
There should be a spot.
There we
Let's see
go.
this. There she is.
Huh?
Now everybody knows what I know about you, how you are literally the most productive woman on the planet.
Agreed. Agreed.
I don't
How
even
she
know
does
how.
it. I don't even know how she does
How
it.
many
Like,
tabs do you have open on your screen, Denise?
Oh my God, a gazillion, a gazillion.
yeah,
I
I
love
could
it.
actually know, like, okay, at one point, if Denise said, I'm gonna do a documentary on something, next thing you know, Impact is up.
Like,
It's like,
boop.
okay,
That's how she rolls.
yeah, that's how she
Denise,
rolls.
we're just talking behind the scenes. We're going to talk about Wise Pause. We we
Okay,
are we
yeah.
we made it a little like everybody needs to come to Wise Pause, but let's
Mhm.
talk about behind the scenes. So you and I stayed at your house the night before. We're like, what are you going to wear? This is what I'm going to wear. I'm going to have a purple leather jacket on. You're having your green leather jacket. Our little signature thing is happening.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
was it for you? Because you've been around celebrities your whole entire career in business, so you don't really get all awestruck. So how was it for you?
It was great. I mean, I think I love the, sort of before part before we actually went into the studio and us meeting all of our colleagues from all over the country
Yeah.
who are, doing the same work, trying to empower women with, solutions that we've brought to the table. So I think, that was kind of more exciting. I think like once then we got inside, it was like, ooh, this is really it, this is the set, this is the stage, right, and then having been in production, so I kind of know like, how things will roll, and kind of like we were there for a couple hours, but what we watched last night was just only one of, the whole take
Yeah.
time.
The
um
editing, they
yeah,
really condensed it
yeah,
down. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it's also great to see someone like Oprah who is so seasoned and such an expert that she can just like literally run with the whole camera. There,
Mhm.
there was really no stops. Let's redo that again. Let's come back. Da 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 da. I mean, it was just a straight roll.
Yeah.
Um,
Very impressive.
yeah,
I didn't think
Mhm.
about that because it just she was so natural
yeah,
with it. But yeah, it was none of that like, okay, let's pause, let's say this thing
yeah,
again, that
Mhm.
kind of thing. I've been in the audience at other shows. Let's take another take on that. And she was
yeah.
just like, let's just go, and I gotta go
Roll.
fix my Spanx.
Exactly. Exactly. She just like
Mhm.
rolled with it right after she fixed her Spanx. But I totally love that moment, that wasn't a moment the audience obviously on television got to see. It was just us in the studio, just about how her people want to make sure she's looking her best, and who doesn't want to make sure that the people around us understand that, we need to look our best if we're going to, be on live television. So
Yeah.
I just love that when that happened, because that's real. This is what really happens, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that she shared it with us. She could have just said, "Oh, I'll be right back," but she's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm gonna go fix my Spanx."
Right.
It just
Right.
endeared her
Yeah.
to us. And we were just talking about how Camille did, she was just out there with her truth and did so well, having her hot flash
Having
right
her hot
on.
flash right there. I loved it.
I
I
loved
loved it. I met with her right afterwards, and it was so funny because she just thought she's like, Denise, when that moment happened, I felt like my whole brain went out with it, right? Because I thought, I'm having a hot flash on television. No, that's not supposed to happen.
it. Was
But
perfect.
this is the real deal.
It's
This
the
is
real
what,
deal.
this is,
It's the real
really
deal.
what women are dealing with and suffering with. It's interesting. I had a doctor email me this morning about they did not really support the bill perspective, the AB 360 bill here in California that is going to have a hearing next
Yeah.
week. And, she talked about what she did to educate herself. And I said, that's exactly what the whole point is, that you had to self-educate. That's what we're trying to get doctors to know. You got to self-educate. It is no longer acceptable to let a woman show up in front of you who is, part of your patient population, and you don't really know how to help her. That's just unacceptable now. No more. No more.
It's out of date. It's just,
It's so out of
there's just
date.
no reason for it. When patients are more educated than the doctors, we've got a
Yeah,
problem.
we have
We've
a
got a problem.
problem. Yeah, yeah.
I love that. Well, so let's just pile that on for those of us in California. If you're in Northern California, or just take a trip on up to Sacramento, April 8th, there's a hearing, and we can go there and be there in person and cheering on Denise and all the work she's doing, because we do have to stand up for politics, for advocacy, in addition to education,
Yeah.
solutions, etc.
Yeah.
Denise gave me some schooling on that the other day. She's like, yeah, the West Coast, they don't get the whole political thing. I'm like, that's because we're not near Washington, D.C. And she's like, no, that's mindset. I'm like, okay, you're right. You're right. It's true, though.
She's the
It's
OG
true.
of it.
It's
Yeah.
true.
She knows.
It's
Okay,
so true.
I feel like we're
It's
the
so
View.
true.
We should do this more often. Can we have our own little View? All right.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Denise, wise pause. Tell us. Okay, so you moved the date from September, and so it's April 12th.
April 12th, Saturday, here in Los Angeles at the Skirball Center. We start 9 a.m. sharp. Actually, start a little bit earlier, but 9 a.m. sharp till 4:30 pretty much is when it ends, and then we do an afters. That's called after party. That's what the young people will teach you. And we have tapas and wine, and we're going to have some non-alcoholic wine this year. So we're going to be introducing women to an alternative of what they can have every single night, and it tastes amazing. It really does taste like alcohol, but it's not.
Good.
New this year for Wise Pauses, we're going to do the Wise Pause Awards. Holly Berry is getting an award, Tamsin is getting an award, and CVS Health is getting an award for being the first corporation in America to be menopause friendly certified. So really excited about that. But Wise Pause is just that place where women can come and get information from menopause specialists, experts, from the brain to the toe, on everything menopause. And you also, what I like about what we do at Wise Pause is we have the people you see on the stage actually come and sit at the table with you. And that usually never happens at events. Julie, you and I, we go to events all the time, and we watch the speaker walk off the stage, out the back door, and done. And you go I got a question, or I just want to meet you, take a photo, whatever. And so, that's what I really love about our speakers. They're so gracious with their time. And to really understand this, like doctors, their only 2 days they have off is Saturday and Sunday. So they're coming to spend a Saturday with you for hours. I mean, it's so invaluable. I mean, really, you couldn't really pay for the knowledge that you're going to get in this one day. It'd be like $10,000, $15,000 worth of knowledge to get just out of the collective group of these physicians and other experts that we have there. And we cover everything. We talk about thinning hair. I mean, that's what I ended up having. When we talk about belly fat, why is it that I'm still eating the same foods, but now my stomach is bigger? Like, what's going on? How do I work with that? We talk about, how do you move now at this point in our life? When we talk about what you guys are going to talk about a little bit later on, HRT and all of its machinations, right? There's a spectrum of HRT and what is right for you, right? Is, menopause is, we all share in numerous symptoms, but how those symptoms impact me and you are very different. Even down to a hot flash. I had hot flashes that were below my neck. So you could look at me and never know that I'm busting up, in flames because it was between my
Sweating.
neck and my
Right.
belly button, right? Or you could see that woman who it's all the way up through her hair. And so we all have it. Some are shorter, some are long. Some are very disruptive, like, it takes you a moment to totally regroup afterwards. All of us have had some variation of brain fog, right? To, the simple forgetfulness to, I can't even remember this person's name who I've known forever, who is right in front of me and I just saw the other day.
Terrifying.
It's
Yes.
so terrifying because you're like, you keep trying to go, I know. And then like, maybe like after they leave your presence, you go, oh, that was Ruth.
Dang it. Ruth.
That was Ruth. I know Ruth. What's going on, right? Or even just, you have a lot to do and you can't get started. You go like, oh my God, I got to do this and this and this. It just feels like you can't figure the point of which to get started. So, again, all of us have it in a different way. And that's why it's really important for you to go to the right kind of doctor. That's why it's really important for doctors to understand that this isn't like, I have diabetes, here's my typical things that I give to them. It is not that straightforward because the symptoms, there's too many multiplicity of symptoms. It's multifactorial. So it's not just, oh, let me give this low level estradiol,
Fits all.
right? And
Right.
they should be good, and they should be good, right?
Well, this is what I love
yeah.
about Wise Pause is you have so many speakers that address so many different things, different symptoms, experiences. So every woman can find an expert that reaches where she is, touches her
Yeah.
in her experience. It feels so inclusive. And like you said, all the speakers come in the audience, and then there's all these solutions and providers of products and exciting things that they can try and buy. And it's such an incredible day. And yes, go to wisepause.com. And I also shared in my story, you can click there to buy your ticket or just go to wisepause.com. And oh, look, Natasha's coming for Fashionalities from Dr. Eddie for the first time.
Oh, good.
Rookie.
Good. Oh, yeah. And then we have, let's talk about the goodie bag. Like it's almost now $1,000 worth of product that you get. And it's so funny because, women try to take like, oh, my girlfriend, she couldn't come. Can I get another one? No, I'm sorry. Your girlfriend should have come.
Sorry. She should have been here to get the bag.
Yeah, so it's it's really like an opportunity for women first to know that there are products designed specifically for you. They are out there, and that's what Wise Pause is all about, introducing you to what is actually out there. And then you get to take home some of these goodies and try them out and see how they work. You can get one of Julie's MenoWell bars and taste it. There's just so many items that you can get. I think this year we're going to have a couple little fun things we've never had before. So if you saw the film, we talked about, oral health, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was probably one of the biggest, like, oh my God, things that people walked away with after they saw the film, because I think no one ever thought about the changes in the mouth
Wait, Denise,
connected to
you just
menopause.
switched from Wise Pasta to the M Factor. And in case you don't know, Denise is one of the executive producers of the amazing documentary, The M Factor. So you have I mean, the screenings have been phenomenal. I think I've seen the film 7 times, Denise. I could probably like recite the whole thing,
She can quote it.
but
That's hilarious.
what
That's
is there even like
hilarious.
20 more screenings just in April, and the film's been out for 6 or 7 months now. How long is it? I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, it came out in
October.
October. It's amazing. It's funny. I was just talking to okay, so let me full
Okay,
circle
yeah, I know.
back.
You
So
just switched.
so I
Okay, go
went in
back and finish.
to talk to the M Factor to talk about oral health, how that was so important. So we're gonna have some oral health care products in the
Mm.
bag this year. And then we'll have somebody else also talking about oral health at one of the table topics. But yeah, I mean, I can't even explain Wise Pause. I mean, not Wise Pause, the M Factor. It's a phenomenon. I was just having a call with PBS yesterday about the next film that we want to do. And they were just giddy about like how great this film, did for PBS, and how so many of the stations rebroadcasted in the month of March.
Mm.
And we were just really, really excited about that. And I think one of the things that with all of these screenings staying continuous is that we have now said that this isn't about waiting till October and having a conversation. This
Yeah,
is about, we're going to talk about this and engage in this every single
yeah,
day.
yeah.
And that is what I really love that's happened. That we are
I
not,
agree that the film
right?
has been such a huge part of the ongoing
Yeah.
momentum of this conversation, where you and I have launched into this world about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and everything was very condensed into October. That was it.
Yeah.
And then it
Yeah.
started to
No,
spread a little.
one day,
One
right?
day,
One
yeah,
day, one day.
Barely one day, because a lot
right,
of people didn't even know it existed in that one day. It was like
right,
it
because
just
it
Exactly.
was
came
in
and
the
went.
UK for
Right.
one day, right? It wasn't
Yes.
here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then we started to creep into September a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now it's like I feel like a proud mama, the
Yeah.
way this whole conversation has grown. And Denise, I sent Denise a photo that somebody sent us, a screenshot from the Oprah show last night, and I said full circle moment, because Denise and I got introduced by a guy, a friend of
By
ours
God.
that we
Yeah.
share, and
Yeah.
over LinkedIn, he's like, I saw you have a menopause product, and then my other friend has a menopause product. You two should meet. And so that was 4 years
Four
ago.
years ago, I know, and we've been besties ever since.
Yay! So fun. It's like you hear me say this all the time. Like the places menopause will take you. Who knew? And it's not just like the fun things that I have in my life that I didn't have before. It is that how, as we age, we can continue to step into our dreams.
Yeah.
We can continue to grow ourselves, go
Yeah.
beyond what we thought was even possible or was too late. As Jen
Yeah.
Marple says, you're not too effing old. Like,
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
keep going. 'Cause
Yeah. Just
that's how
keep
you meet Oprah.
It's the
right.
mindset that
Exactly.
goes along with it. It's
Exactly.
the
Wait, did you tell him you have a selfie? Did you tell him
I
you have a
posted
selfie?
it
Yes.
Yeah.
yesterday.
You did.
Well,
Okay. Okay. Julie just
I saved
was
it.
one. We were all there, and we saw, oh my God, Oprah's come back out, right? And then Julie, next thing I know, Julie like, and she's right there next to Oprah.
She can work an
And that's,
audience.
oh my, she can
It
work
was my
it.
time,
She,
okay? Because no, the truth is, going in, I didn't know, like, where's Denise? I don't know where Denise is, and I'm sort of in the back of the line going in the
wow.
studio. Denise had gone in and saved me a seat. So I was, we're right there together, and Josh was like, "That's so cool." And so then, and then Denise is like, "You got to shoot your shot. You got to shoot your shot." I'm like, "You're right. You're right. I don't know what I was doing." So at the end, I just went up there. This is the advantage of being small sometimes. Beep, 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 beep. Next thing I knew. And then she's like, oh, yeah, hi. Put her arm around me. I almost started to cry. Like, I am not a starstruck person. That is just not me. But Oprah, oh, on my vision board for 30 years. I don't know. So
Check.
it was a moment. I have to rub my Oprah shoulder on my jacket right now. So
That's right. It was a moment. It was a great moment.
Okay, so Denise, I know you're busy unless you want to hang out and talk about hormone replacement, which
I'm in
you
the phone.
probably talk about it more than you even ever wanted to. So I'll let you go. But again,
Okay.
everybody needs to hop over to wisepause.com, get your ticket, go to LA, get there early. Let's have some fun. Stay a little after. We can have some more fun and just make it a weekend. The Skirball Center, where the event is the most unique, beautiful venue. LaReesa, describe the venue.
It's, first of all, it's big but yet inviting.
Yeah.
So you still feel like it's big but intimate, which was really nice. So it really adds that other flavor, as what Denise was talking about, because being one of the speakers before, and yes, it is a wonderful bag, believe me, one of the best out there for sure. But you're having these opportunities to be amongst everyone, and it just seems so inclusive. Yeah. So it's a beautiful center. It's big, but yet you have that intimate feel, and where you'll have vendors on the second floor, like this mezzanine area, as well as the bottom floor. Then it has an outside kind of area. So hopefully, pray for great weather on April 12th. But it's truly a good spectrum of opportunity to just be part of the menopausal movement. It's more than a moment now. So hats off to you. It's a great opportunity and a great event to attend. So yes, go. If you're in California, definitely go.
Agree. Free MenoWell bars too.
Thank you,
Denise, how many?
Thank you for always, whenever I reach out, you always make yourself available, and I really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you.
She's my favorite too. I'm just saying. Okay, Denise, I'll let you go to get to your 400 tabs on your computer that I know you need to get to.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Okay. See you soon at Wise Pause.
Okay. Bye-bye.
So fun. Are you sure you can't go this year, LaReesa? Come on.
I wish. It's been a lot going on. I'm just returning back.
I know. And big hugs for the loss of your sweet daddy. So
yes. So I appreciated all those who have reached out. I've definitely been, and that's, and just to curve that into, a positive moment, because that's what my dad would want to do anyway. It was so many relatable stories last night, and even that it was a statistic, 73% of divorces are related to menopause or something like that. So it just reminded me that women are involved with some major life events, changes in the relationships, aging parents, kids that may be going off to school or still raising young children because we're starting families later. And then your body's like, it's still on the clock.
Right.
It's still going to do what it's going to do.
Right.
And then it's going to hit you while life is still lifing. And it's so amazing how women are starting to make this a generational conversation. And that's what I heard as well. Like, we want to continue this baton. We want this to go beyond October. We want this conversation not only to bring awareness, but to bring your own individual advocacy in your physician's office, in your communities, because we know through women, if you start with the women, you bring in the family. Right. You're building your community. Heal women, heal the world is what I say. So I'm just glad that it was a wonderful broadcast. I enjoyed it. I have to say that I saw it after the fact, but it was good because I was able to fast forward and her get to the other parts.
Okay. Hey, true confessions. I wish I could have seen it after the fact. Well, people were already texting me and things, because the East Coast, I'm in California.
Oh, yeah, that's right, West Coast.
So a whole crew of folks saw it way before I did. But 10 o'clock, that's past my bedtime. Yeah. And at first I was like, why are they showing it at 10 o'clock? But now I realize there's a lot of vaginas happening. And so I guess we still have to do that at 10 o'clock. I don't know. That's ins-
Yeah.
that's
My
insane.
2-year-old had me down at that time. I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna have to catch this after she's.
I'm trying to get my 7 hours. I gotta go, but it just seems wrong not to watch it live.
Right. But I had a good excuse. But let me tell
Okay,
you, my moment was getting up
I'm
early.
plugging in my
What?
phone. I realize my battery's getting low here, so keep going. You
Okay,
hold it
no
down.
problem.
Keep going.
So my moment is waking up because I'm an early bird. So my mornings are going to start somewhere between 4 and 5 or 4 and 4:30 anyway. But that's what I decided to do. I got a 30-minute, like my workout on those who use the Peloton app. I'm using that right now. And that's what I did. I fixed me a nice little cup of coffee and I sat there and watched it. So that's how I started my morning. Because I was like, I'm not going to go a whole 24 hours and wait. I'm going to do it while the house is quiet. Nobody's disturbing me. I could sit here and watch it and fast forward and everything. So that was my moment of taking it in. And it
I
was
love it.
really well done,
I love
I think.
it.
Hmm.
Okay, LaReesa,
Absolutely.
I realize my
Hmm.
power has gone out. We're having a storm here. So
Oh,
I'm going
okay.
to go get a backup charger. How about
Okay.
you share some thoughts on your reflections on HRT now
Hmm.
that we all have a little bit of a different awareness about hormone replacement. And those of you who are here often,
Hmm.
are having this HRT conversation.
Hmm.
And so I don't know, was there any reflections that you had or things that you want to share now that I don't know. Is it just me? Because I don't want to assume we're past
Hmm.
beginner, but we tend to be a little bit farther down the road on this. So I'm going to get my backup charger
Yeah,
and
I
this.
agree we
Be right back.
are, but yeah, no problem. I agree we are, but it's not, I feel like I still often run into patients or clients who don't know what's going on with their bodies or have a mixed picture of what it was supposed to look like. So I still think there is a level of awareness that still needs to happen, but if anything, I thought even from last night and what people are doing or seeing with many of the influencers and physicians like myself that are out here, they're approaching it differently, right? So I think the biggest thing that I have learned throughout the course of even when it comes to HRT is that women know when they're being dismissed and then they're acting more quickly about it.
Mm,
And so, just going back to that stat we had used earlier that was presented last night, that 6 to 8 visits, misdiagnoses and, oftentimes overlook. And I see it all the time, honestly, all the time when people come in for a new consultation with me. And it is so imperative that we understand that our system is broken. There's a fragmented care. People have had traumatic experiences. I see women like that. Like, I haven't seen a doctor in 5 years because of the last experience that I've had. And
mm,
so when you build an amount of awareness and put it on Miss O level, right? You can take it to that next step or feel more armed with, I'm not the only one who's experiencing this. This is not a one size fits all thing. And I can advocate in myself. And what does advocacy look like in solution form? Tracking your symptoms, coming
mhm.
to the visit, prepare, knowing right away, like, is this a doctor for me or against me? Are they
Right.
seeing me? Am I being valued or not? And then maybe I need to skip on to the other. But I saw over and or heard over and over again, don't suffer. Don't make
Hmm.
these excuses. Don't suffer. And even if HRT isn't something specifically for you, I speak all the time towards make a informed decision.
Right.
So approach it as if you've never heard it before by the time you come to your clinician or someone. And from that decision, see how that fits for you. And so those are some of the constant, I feel, threads and things that we're weaving along this movement,
Yeah.
because oftentimes we're not going to the doctor immediately. We
No.
just kind of bear with it, like, hey, I've been struggling, or yes, I've had heavy periods for a long time,
Hmm. Hmm.
and all of a sudden menopause hits you or perimenopause hits you, and then all of a sudden you're feeling more fatigue and you're out of it. And, there, we have a such thing of calling it normalizing,
Right.
these symptoms, but really we're
Right.
leveling up how we're addressing the
So
symptoms.
much more
And
prepared when we go in,
absolutely.
generally. But you know what I love?
Mhm.
One of the things Hallie said last night was it's okay to get a new doctor. To punt, I think she might have said punt your doctor. Did I make that up? But keep the doctor, love the doctor that you've had your whole life, maybe delivered your babies or whatever. But it's okay to have a second doctor for menopause that really gets it. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I see patients like that all the time, like, okay, well, I can just go there for my annual screening, but I want you to take care of everything else.
right.
And it's perfectly fine. There's certain words that I love, and it brings even more value to some of our conversations on here or in previous events. Being a CEO of your health, heard that a couple of
Yeah.
times last
Yeah.
night. Love
Yeah.
that.
That was one of the tips, right?
I
Somebody said.
add to that, hey, if you're the CEO of your health, then you should have your own board of directors. What does that look like? So is that, bringing in your acupuncturist? Is this making sure you have this bum diggity PCP that backs you up? And hey, I may not know it, but I'm gonna send you to someone because I don't want to, discount or dismiss anything that you're experiencing. And that's the next step. Even owning, like, I may not be able to help you, but I'm definitely not going to dismiss what you just said. So let me
Right.
point you in the right direction.
Right.
Not, I'll see you next year and just deal with it and you're just being emotional. Now
That's
like Denise said, that's old school, that's archaic, that's Fred
yeah.
Flintstone era.
I love
So
it. And it's the movement is from the grassroots up. So doctors are now responding to women coming with Mary Claire's the new menopause book to the appointment,
yeah.
like, okay, here's my checklist,
Mm-hmm.
all the things. Okay, let's
Mm-hmm.
look here.
It keeps me
First,
on guard.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
you
I'm
already
like,
know the
yeah, let me go
answers,
look
but
it up.
yeah,
I don't mind because I can't keep up with everything, but I'm very solid in my knowledge. But people are scrolling more and seeing more, and the algorithm is something else. So
right.
I
They're
like to
going on Chat
come on with
GPT before their
questions.
meeting, for their appointment. Okay, Dr. Kelly says,
Hey,
how do we make
Dr.
sure
Kelly.
you
I
see
know Dr. Kelly.
you know Dr. Kelly, I know
Yeah,
Dr. Kelly. How
I
do
know
we
Dr.
make
Kelly.
sure heart disease and other diagnoses are evaluated while addressing HRT? This is a huge and important question. I'm going to just throw in there because I went 8 years lifestyle only approach to dealing with my menopause symptoms. That's why I started MenoWell.
Mm-hmm.
But at 59, 59, 59, I decided I'm getting close to my 10th year, although maybe that whole 10-year thing is kind of starting to be debunked, but 10 years post menopause that I wanted to go on hormone replacement because I was still having brain fog. It was still annoying me, the brain fog. The other things calmed down. So I went on HRT last year. Um, and so Dr. Sharon Malone, you, and another doctor said that I should have heart tests because of when you take estrogen again later on when you haven't had any at all, then the plaques in your arteries can soften
Mm-hmm.
and get loose. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And so weigh in on this because I think it's a really important question.
Yeah, I think so too. And then kind of bringing in what Dr. Kelly is asking as well, as far as the diagnosis, because many people are starting it at a different age, and case in point for you. But I think the biggest take home that you did was one, asking advice like, okay, we're just throwing that out with the bathwater because that's what we know, that starting it within 10 years of menopause, generally that safety profile is still intact based on the evidence that we have. But what about those women who decide later? You still need to do the due diligence of making sure that your cardiovascular system is evaluated. One of the biggest things I like to support is one of the issues back in the day when we used to write HRT is that's the thing. See you back next year. We get something from the insurance company. We sign off on the refills, right? We're modern medicine now has advanced way beyond that, where there's a more I always preach a more integrative model. So if we're going to individualize, personalize, and this is not one size fits all, someone's not going to say, no, Julie, you don't need it, but you are 60 years of age, let's make sure that we do some basic blood tests, have you evaluated by your cardiologist, make sure there's no underlying inflammation, plaques or areas where you might be an increased risk. So from that, you're making an informed decision like, hey,
Right.
I can be on this and feel safe about this decision and not feel wonky that, oh, okay, well,
Right.
I don't want anything to happen, you
Right.
know?
Well,
So,
what blood tests are the basic blood tests? Because I didn't have any of
mhm,
those. I've had an
mhm,
EKG. I have a
mhm,
cardiac scan
mhm,
coming up in a couple of weeks, but I didn't have any blood tests. So
mhm.
what are some of the blood tests?
Well, the reason why I start off with basic blood panel because it just depends on meeting you where you're
Mm,
at. So sometimes it's doing the
mm,
basics. And when
mm,
I'm talking about the basics, we're talking about a complete basic panel, a metabolic panel. So we're looking at your blood profile, your
mm,
electrolytes, etc. One of the things I like to look at is your fasting glucose. This is a time where women might have been insulin resistant or more higher risk of diabetes for a long period of time, which
yeah.
therefore increases your risk of vascular disease, increases your risk of having those inflammation and those plaques. Having an extended lipid profile where we're possibly even looking at, based on your cardiac history, looking at your lipoprotein profile. So those things can add to it. I do a hemoglobin A1C.
Mm-hmm.
I do a C-reactive protein just to evaluate. And this is what I call my bread and butter if I'm evaluating from the lens of, I want you to have a quality of life. Let's be more preventive with what are some of the basics I know your insurance will pay for.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned the calcium score test, or those things where you can evaluate outside of a stress test somebody's risk factor as
Mm-hmm.
far as having coronary artery disease. That might not be in the basic panel, but once again, these are tests available where you can personalize it for someone specifically and know what's best. And I have nothing, I have relationships with cardiologists, and I will tell a woman, I want you to see the cardiologist. Let's make sure that we're good from that standpoint. Any other additional tests that may need to be done, because as you get older, what is the killer, right? It's
Right.
cardiovascular
Heart
disease,
disease, the
hmm
thing. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So hopefully that helps someone out there just to have an idea to take a step further. And once again, making sure that it's not a no just because it's what we know based evidence wise. But once you're armed with your particular situation and you understand what are the options before you, you can make an informed decision, and like you did. And how was your experience on HRT thus
Right.
far? Julie?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad I take it. One, I'm kind of mad that you didn't tell me that the progesterone would help me sleep, because I would have taken that like 6 years ago. We missed that
I gotta
conversation.
tell you, we've had a lot of
I,
conversations.
I probably forgot.
But I remember you telling me that. I was like, really, Julie? Are you serious? Because we were at, we were sitting in the audience in Orlando. I was just like, really, Julie? I was like, oh my God. Because this is when Dr. Vonda was, I think, pulling out her bag of
I
meds.
was
I'm
I didn't
sorry.
know.
I'm
I
sorry.
didn't know.
I thought
So
we did.
from that perspective, I sleep like a rock now, and I love it. I mean, and one of the ththings the neurologist, neuroscientist from UCLA on the Oprah show is talked about how sleep isn't everything. It is huge, but we need sleep, we need lifestyle changes, we need nutrition, but we also need medication, which I thought was interesting that she said that.
Yeah, it was.
It
It
was,
was.
yeah, she was
Mhm.
really, there was more that she said that I guess they edited because it was longer. She was really, really interesting to me. But yes, so my experience has been really good. So
Okay.
between the progesterone and the estrogen, I just have a little bit more energy. My brain is clearer,
Hmm.
less difficulty. I can always do things because I know how to will myself. I know
Hmm.
how to move things forward, but I
Hmm.
don't move it with there's no slogging. There was a
Hmm.
period, a year or so, I just felt like, ugh, and
Hmm.
growing MenoWell, there's a lot of details involved in this company.
Hmm.
So it was challenging. So I'm glad
Yeah,
I did it. I'm glad I did it. So,
I'm
and I'm
glad you.
also glad, I should say, I'm not upset that I waited, because I really dialed in my lifestyle, my nutrition and my fitness and meditation and all those things. And so I bring HRT to a well-oiled lifestyle versus looking at HRT just to fix all my problems, but I hadn't taken care of those optimizers, like the foundation of everything.
Yeah.
So
I like how you said that. I think that's really important, that HRT is a tool, but it's not the only tool.
Yeah.
So when you combine it with a lot of the lifestyle things that you're mentioning, with a physician or a clinician or whoever your medical provider that is along with you in that journey, it just makes it all the worthwhile when you're getting the results that you desire and the outcomes, and you feel empowered. And so that's another thing of learning from last night, that once you're gaining this opportunity to be an active participant
yes,
in this journey,
yes,
you just feel more empowered. You feel like you're going to grab that girlfriend and, hey, let's go check this out. Let's have more deeper conversations about it. But most importantly, how can I like how Denise talks about advocacy, but we were on a call when I did something with her for a group in Miami, and we talked about allies.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about, once you advocate, you need to make sure that other people are speaking on that behalf when you're not there.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is the magic of the movement.
Yes.
That is gone beyond you just being present in the space.
Right.
That someone else who knows what this looks like but may not experience it can be an ally for you outside of that space too.
Yeah.
So that's where the magic happens.
That's where all the rest of the momentum of the butterfly effect happen, right?
Yes,
We start it
absolutely.
here, but it takes everybody. That's what I love in this conversation. Everybody, all voices, whether you agree with all the voices or not, we still are really grateful and need everybody to move this forward. And I guess we should just wrap up, or I'm going to run into my next meeting here. But that is what was just so delicious about not just being in the audience, which that was to see all the companies, all of our colleagues, like Denise said, my sisters in the pause, who have services and platforms and products that we've all come together passionately to build things that serve us, that serve our community. But just the greater momentum, like we've come so far and we have a long way to go. But boy, we've made some really strong inroads. So thanks for all you do, Dr. LaReesa.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And I honestly, being around this tribe and around people who are advocating and starting businesses and their mission and purpose. And one of the things that I like collectively that my MenoWell has done is that you're so much more beyond the bar, right? Like the bar is the flagship, right? But the message is even more delicious, right? Because you've had things from bone health to thrive to sex to, like all these different, elements that make us who we are. And when that woven thread comes together in that community, in that voice, it's like, in your words, it's delicious, it's powerful, it's informing, so I thank you too. And so have fun at Wise Pause.
Yes, we're going to be sad without you. I know there's going to be some people here listening in who will be there, but hopefully Denise is going to record it and she'll share it out. But thank you
Maybe
for...
Dr. Kelly will come. She's in California.
Oh, Kelly,
Maybe she'll drop up. Dr. Kelly, come up there.
Come on, Kelly. Come on, Kelly.
Okay.
We'll have a mocktail because I'm really not drinking very much anymore. It's just not
Me
that
neither.
fun.
Me neither.
Yeah, I don't even like I like mocktails, but not if they're sweet. Like I don't want a fake cosmopolitan. I want something that's like a little more toned down, sophisticated, not so sugary. So
well, in the meantime, I'll drink the water.
There you go. Okay, this is my sexy water for today. Notice the lid because I will spill it on myself and my computer. Okay, have a lovely day. Thank you for being you. Happy Doctors Awareness. We love Doctors Day on Monday. Belated hugs for all the things happening in your life. And super honored to be in this conversation with you, Denise, and Oprah about menopause.
Hashtag goals. Okay.
Hashtag goals.
I'm going to put that in the atmosphere like, it's going to happen, LaReesa.
It only took me 30 years to manifest it, but it ain't true. I got to go hang my jacket back up in the closet.
I don't know.
I was
Have you
thinking,
washed your jacket? Did
no,
you? Okay.
never washed.
Good job. Good job. Okay. Good answer. Good
Good
answer.
answer.
Okay.
Don't get too
All
close
right.
to me though. After a few more wearings, you're like, oh, she should wash that jacket. No,
Febreze it. Just
not ever.
Febreze.
Febreze.
Febreze and put it out there on the, and hang it out in the outside.
Okay,
It'll be fine.
you heard it here. Oh my God. Okay. Love you guys. Love you,
Love
Doc.
you. Take
See you
care.
all
Bye.
soon. MenoWell. Bye.